Today I'm going to be showing you the correct and most effective way to do an ab crunch and get you that six-pack you've always wanted. And make sure you watch till the end because I got a special gift just for you. So when we're talking about doing a crunch the right way, we need to first talk about the setup of the crunch, okay? Where do my feet go? That's a great question.
So we're gonna make sure our feet are actually a little longer than really tight up, okay? Because we wanna take your hip flexors out of this exercise. Whoopsies! So when we take the hip flexor out of it, we don't wanna be all bunched up as close as possible. We wanna give them a little bit of a breakout here, okay? We don't need to be crazy, right? Just a little bit, okay? Take these guys out of it. If you feel this on a crunch, you're doing it wrong, okay? So then what we're gonna do, we're gonna lay all the way back down, okay? You can get that head nice and flat. And then first thing we're gonna do, we gotta really engage the TVA, all right? Our transverse abdominis, all right? So that is underground. It is way deep tissue, okay? But that guy gets very underworked. So not only in the crunch are we working the rectus abdominis, that six-pack, right? But we're working the transverse abdominis, which is like the corset muscle because it just wraps around your spine like this, and it keeps it nice and stable, okay? So we're gonna get activated, right? So how do we do that? It's all in the breath, okay? So I want you to relax back here, take a breath in through the nose, all right? And then next we're going to exhale through the mouth, and we're gonna fog up the window. So we're going, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, what was that? You probably noticed I dropped down a little bit. Now we're getting a little bit of transverse abdominis. So what we're gonna do, one more breath, breathe in without raising up, right? Don't lose it. And then we're gonna exhale one more time. And then it got a little more tight there. And you should feel it without doing anything else, okay? Now keep that tightness. And now we're going to initiate forward your head. And that's where we're gonna start. So I want you thinking of your spine, okay? So your spine has segments like this called vertebrae, and they stack on top of each other, and they flex or they extend, okay? So they go less laterally too. But in this case, we are flexing, okay? We're going forward with these stacked up vertebrae, all right? So I want you to think about each and every one of those, all right? So think of these guys in the back of your head, all right? Your spine, your cervical spine, in your neck, all right? And they're little notches that go boom, 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 and all of a sudden we flex forward, right? As I'm doing now. So we're gonna start with the neck, all right? So really feel that, get it all out, and then I want you to start. 1, 2, 3, real slow. Biggest mistake on crunches is this. No, you're not doing it right. All right, exhale. Now real slow, bending in the neck, watch. Tucking the chin, coming up really slowly. Hands, we've totally forgot about the hands. Hands straight out in front of you on your sides, not here, here, all right? And we're gonna crunch, and I'm gonna breathe out more. Each individual vertebrae at a time to about there. If you got more breaths, get it all out. Holy Toledo, Smokey the Bear, we're getting abs, okay? From here, same thing, real slow back. Slowly unwind, slowly up. I dropped a little bit there. Slowly unwind, each vertebrae at a time. And we're gonna come back up, right? So we're gonna, on the way up. So breathe in and get it all out nice and slow. Hold if you're crazy, nice down. Breathe in nice and slow, or hold it, whatever you prefer. Get it out again. Now, as we go through this, you're gonna notice your core, as you breathe out, is gonna get more and more tight. That's what we're going for, okay? So don't forget to breathe. Breathing is one of the most important things when we're talking about doing crunches, okay? Now, if you do these right, you're not gonna be doing 20, 30, 40 crunches, okay? You're probably gonna be starting with about 5, all right? These are pretty intense. And again, the slower you go, the better. And we are really stretching out that six-pack, right? That rectus abdominis. So we got 2, 4, and 6, right? And those fibers, those muscle fibers run like this, right? That's why we crunch. And then we go into that flexion, that forward bend, okay? So when we do this, it's massively important that we get as much out of our abs as possible. So that's why breathing is so important, okay? So on that exhale, We're tightening, and those muscle fibers that run vertically, they are going to tighten as you breathe out, okay? So as you breathe out, then adding the motion of that flexion, of that forward movement, right? And then you're really going to be activating your core. And when I say core, we're really talking about rectus abdominis, but as we stated earlier in the video, we're also getting transverse abdominis, which is majorly overlooked, and you usually didn't even know it was there until you feel it, okay? So start out by getting your transverse abdominis and then integrating the flexion, that forward bending, into your crunch, okay? This is the proper way how to do a crunch. Now, some of the mistakes we see pretty frequently, right? Let's look at those real quick. So, when we come up, right, it's a more of a jerky action instead of like the real slow, starting with the neck, coming up real slow, right? So, watch the jerking, okay? Second, hands. A lot of people are pulling with their hands or grabbing their thighs or the top of their knees, right? That's why we like these guys on the side, pointed, forget about them, and then just reach through this as we come up, right? So another mistake I also see, where the feet are, right? We talked about this earlier, but we don't want them too close. We don't want them too far away, all right? So we want them farther away than close, okay? So right about there, all right? So we're talking about a 30, 45 degree angle, okay? And from there, we do not want to feel it here as we come up. So let's say end range is here, right? I don't need to come up any further because that would be a hip flexor and not my rectus abdominis, the six pack. Okay, so those are the biggest mistakes I usually see. And the number one biggest mistake, which we've already covered plenty now, is the breathing aspect of this video. Okay, so exhale, please get a breath, find your abs, all right? I like to say, get your abs, all right? When you breathe, and how do you breathe? Out, you fog the window. Just like you're in the car, right? And you're against the window, that's how you breathe out. And that's automatically going to trigger your diaphragm and your transverse abdominis. It's a beautiful thing. Make sure you take it home, work on this. If you have any questions, drop them below, like it, comment on it. I want to hear your feedback because if you've been doing crunches before and you've seen this and whoa, this is totally different, right? This might switch your world around a little bit, okay? So let me know what you think. As always, drop comments below with any more videos you'd like to see, especially when we're talking about the abs, the six pack, baby. I will show you how to get it.